Now we really want to get to the meat of what it is to be a triathlete, and that's your training. But before we give you ideas about designing a training program, let's just talk a little bit about what a triathlon is and how you can maximize your training, how you can build up the events that maybe you're not as strong in, so that when you go have your race, you're going to have a great day. When we think about a triathlon, a lot of people think, well, I need to train for a swim, I need to train for a bike ride, and then I've got to train for this thing called a run. But really, a triathlon is one sport. It's all three of those elements combined together. And that's the beauty of it, because somebody might be a great cyclist, they're not a strong swimmer, but when you combine it all together, you can be a great triathlete. And that's what really makes it fun. Some things to keep in mind for each of those sports is that no matter how good or challenged you are in any one of them, you can always get a little bit better. And the easiest way to get free time in any one of those sports is to improve your mechanics. For example, on the swim, a lot of people, well, they kind of swim like a stone. And so it doesn't matter. You could get in the pool and swim thousands and thousands of yards, and you just will make little incremental changes and improvements in your performance on the swim. However, if you work on your stroke mechanics, you can go from basically a beginner to being a very top age grouper in a short period of time. That may require having a coach look at your stroke mechanics. It might require going to a swim camp or swim clinic. You can also refer to the swim video in the series here that we have, and there's a lot of drills and things that you can incorporate into your training so that when you get in the pool, you're going to get a little bit better. Even the best in the world, Michael Phelps, after he won all those gold medals, was restructuring his stroke so that he gets a little bit faster. So if Michael Phelps can do it, we can do it too. Cycling, there's two things that are really important to try and get in place before you actually go out there and do a lot of miles out there training. One of them is the position on the bike. You want to be comfortable, you want to be set up in a position that's very efficient. And again, that's covered in depth, definitely in the bike video of this series. So check that out. You're going to get a lot of great tools with that. The second thing that most triathletes are a bit challenged with on the bike is the actual speed that their legs are turning over. Most people, when they start out in the sport, they're a little tentative, and especially on the bike when you're out there on the road with cars and other things you're focusing on. What happens to your cadence, that turnover rate? Usually it slows down. And the slower you go, it's kind of like climbing a big hill. It is not so efficient. So one of the things that we really recommend is to get that little device called a cadence monitor. And what that will do is it will show you how fast your legs are turning over. In general, ideal cadence is going to be somewhere between 90 to 95 revolutions per minute. Most triathletes, if you just let them go out on their own, they're going to turn those pedals over at about 75 revolutions per minute. Too slow, you're putting too much force on the muscle, which actually doesn't allow the muscle to flush. You're using up valuable energy, which actually could be used to just make it a lot easier if you just increase that cadence rate a little bit. And then for the run, one of the things that happens to most triathletes, even the best in the world, is that they have an incorrect stride length. Well, what does that mean? Often when triathletes are starting out, they're really trying hard, and especially when you start going faster, and most people, when they try harder, their stride length opens up and they come down like this on the heel. What happens when I land on my heel? When I land on that heel, I've just put the brakes on, right? How do I get over that? My momentum has to carry me over to the middle of my foot, and then once my center of gravity gets to the center of the foot and I get past that, then all of a sudden gravity takes over and it pulls me forward. Very easy. So that's going to be one of the tools that you can focus on with your running, is really developing the right cadence, but also correct, efficient foot placement on the ground. And again, this is something that you can easily develop with the drills that we have in the run series on the USAT Triathlon videos here. So again, just those 3 tips that I wanted to have you hold on to in the back of your mind. For the swim, definitely work on your stroke mechanics, get somebody to help you out with that. There's no way any swimmer in this universe is able to feel the way that their stroke actually looks. So if you have somebody else watching you, they can give you the tools, the tips, the drills that will help you to improve your stroke mechanics. On the bike, get the position right so that when you are on that bike, it is comfortable for you to sit in that aero position, because that's going to be your most efficient position. If you're not comfortable in the aero position, you won't stay there. You'll sit up and you'll be like a parachute. So dial that position in, and then also work on your cadence rate on the bike. And then finally, for the run, one of the most important elements, again, is having that foot placement come in contact with the ground right at the right point so that you're always moving forward. And again, there's drills on the swim, bike, and run videos in this series that will help you to do that.